People frequently claim that immigrants and poor black families are living off the system. They're on welfare. They're mooching. But here is the truth. The majority of people on public assistance in the United States of America are white, and most of them have jobs. They just don't make enough money to survive without a little bit more because wages are low, rent is high, a lot of jobs don't come with benefits anymore. You can't have a job without a cell phone. You can't even find a job without the internet. But it's not poor people who are eating up the most dollars in public assistance. Nope, it's the middle class. It's people who can take mortgage deductions and, of course, corporations cashing in on subsidies. But nobody calls that a handout. SNAP, Medicaid, housing assistance, those aren't loopholes to help billionaires save some more money and line their pockets so that they can get more yachts or whatever they do with it. They're lifelines for millions of people. And here's the kicker. Those programs keep all of us safer and more stable. If you're mad that someone's getting help, maybe just look at why they need it, not just who they are. Think about this. A friend of mine said he grew up in a third world country, and he said that in those countries, petty theft and, pickpocketing and crimes like that are common because people have to do that to get enough money to buy food and to pay for a place to stay. That's going to happen in our country if we don't get curious about where the waste in our government really exists.
Yeah. I don't know how I landed on white TikTok, but yo, the white TikTokers are in shambles because their benefits are being cut off.
I've always wondered is how did SNAP food stamp get equated to the black community? Like, I really want to know. It don't have to be a documentary, but I love a short 1-minute video of how those two got coincided. Because we know this for a fact that 75% of recipients of SNAP food stamp are white people. And then the rest are people of color, children who don't have parents who are basically raising themselves. Those are the population of people, right? We're talking about 75% of the welfare queens, right, are white people. So if we know this, right, when that man said he was about to go do what he was about to go do, y'all voted for him anyways for a second term. Don't know why, but nevertheless, right? Now y'all talking about, oh, I never voted for this. This wasn't a part of the deal. This wasn't what he said he was going to do. No, you assumed that everything that he was going to do was going to personally attack people of color. And now that you're tasting a lot of the karma, as I would say, you know what I'm saying, of the things that you've chosen to do, now you're upset, now you're mad. But you're not mad enough. Because imagine when November, no food stamp. December, no food stamp. January, no food stamp. Y'all are about to lose your mind. Now I hope you grab that anger and you fuel it properly and you go towards the person that's causing you this problem. Not us black people, not us people of color or POCs, but that man. I hope so, but nevertheless, you know that people of color are always the punching bag for people who are less wealthy and less powerful. So they gotta attack us because we're the closest denominator for them to be able to feel like they're superior than they actually are. But nevertheless, I hope you guys remember, because we won't forget. North will never forget. The North will always remember, because this man is systematically breaking everything that has taken 15, 20, 30 years to us to put forth to help our communities, and now they're gone.
I don't agree with taking people's food, their resources.
What did you think the Republican Party advocated for? This isn't even a Trump thing. This has been a talking point and a policy proposal from Republicans my whole life. I mean, anytime you bring up SNAP or welfare benefits, it's let's cut entitlements. These people are lazy. This, that, and the third. This has always been the dialogue that you get from Republicans. I don't understand why you think this wouldn't happen. It always confuses me when the government starts taking things away that actually help people, how Republicans react. Like, oh, they cut FEMA dollars. We're not going to have any help during this hurricane. Oh, they cut welfare and they cut SNAP benefits. I don't agree with people not having food. Like, what do you think you guys are voting for? Again, this isn't a Trump thing. This has been the narrative and this has been the talking points that Republicans have pushed my whole life. This is everything you hear on Fox News every single day. Like, when you go to the voting booth and you vote for a politician who talks about welfare queens and talks about government entitlements and how everybody needs to work, like, what do you think is going to happen? And you guys do this with immigration too. And I'm going to bring up immigration because it's a huge issue right now, but you guys do the same thing with immigration. Every Republican I hear who tries to defend like racist policies with immigration always say the same thing. They always say, you know what? I just want people to come here legally. I want it to be done the right way. I think we should have a strict, strong border, but I do think we should have a process in which people come here legally and we do away with the criminals at the border and the criminals inside the country. You know whose policy that is? It's the Democratic Party policy. Like, that's what Democrats believe, not Republicans. Republicans are way more extreme than that. And as somebody who considers themselves a leftist, I think the Democrats are a little inhumane themselves when it comes to immigration. I don't know this man, and he could be, you know, a really nice family guy, and he could, you know, treat his family members well and his community well. But I genuinely think that there's this blockage with Republicans, especially those in like rural communities and maybe some suburbs, where they have no idea what they're voting for, and they have no idea what the Democratic Party or Republican Party represents. They just think Democrat evil, and then just go to the voting booth and vote Republican because they have their whole life.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into a story that's got social media absolutely shaking. Some poor white Americans are furious after realizing that SNAP, yes, the food stamp program, was never just for Black people. You'd think by now folks would know how this program actually works, but apparently that truth hit hard. Yeah, so let's talk about what's really going on, who is benefiting, and why this myth still refuses to die. Let's dive in.
I voted for him for lower grocery prices. Not only has that not happened, I'm getting my food stamps taken. I did not ask for this.
Well, it seems like a good enough time as any to interrupt her. Hi, I'm back to teach white people more shit. Well, mostly white people, because that's who keeps popping up on my FYP, just cheering on the fact that we won't have any SNAP benefits for November. So I thought I'd do a little research. Yeah, and I'm using Alabama as my example because that's the state I live in. And I got my data here that I'm about to read to you from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, and also because I know how to do basic math. Well, I do, but I double check it with Siri because I did receive an Alabama education, so there's a anyways that's neither here nor there. I said, you know, how many people in the state of Alabama, our population, are on SNAP benefits, and they said 750,000 to 800,000 people in the state of Alabama are on SNAP benefits, and that's our population, by the way, is 5 million. So that makes it 15 to 16% of our population are receiving SNAP benefits. And I said, so if we took each state, the percentage of their population on SNAP, and ranked them from highest to lowest, where on that list would Alabama fall? And we are the 11th highest on SNAP benefits. It's not really that good. They said 1 in 6 households receive SNAP benefits. I said, out of curiosity, how many people in the state of Alabama receiving SNAP benefits are white? It said 37%. I said, okay. That's about the same as our national average, so to be expected. I'm just going to give you a little bit more information to tie this up. 64% of the population voted for Donald Trump. 64% of the people who voted in 2024 voted for Donald Trump. And 77% of those people were white voters. And that comes from the Pew Research Center. I hope that helps.
For the people who are celebrating folks losing their SNAP benefits, y'all are weird. There's so many people out here talking about, oh, now you gotta work for it, accountability. Y'all do realize that most SNAP recipients work, right? They just don't make enough money to cover rent, bills, and food. It's literally helping to keep working families afloat. Someone even posted, let them eat cake. As in the people who won't receive their benefits. You know that quote that was supposedly made by Marie Antoinette? Well, you do remember what happened after she supposedly said that, right? She was beheaded, and the French Revolution ensued. So let me give you some statistics. 41.7 million people receive SNAP benefits in the United States. That's about 12% of the population. You mean to tell me all those people are lazy and mooching off the system? And even though that number seems large, it accounts for less than 2% of federal spending. Oh, and here's a fun fact. For every dollar that is funded to people through SNAP, it helps push in $1.50 to $1.80 into the local economy. So it's more like a stimulus than welfare. And that's not just helping SNAP recipients. If someone is more concerned about poor people receiving help to eat than they are about billionaires receiving unfair tax cuts, the problem isn't economics, it's empathy.
Child, people love that same tired line. Get off government assistance and work harder. But let me tell you something. Child, those very benefits came from the mess that this country created from the beginning. If we didn't have a few people at the top, hoarding all the wealth, manipulating wages, inflating housing, exploiting labor, there wouldn't even be a need for SNAP, Social Security, or Medicaid. Just a quick crash course. SNAP, the S stands for supplemental. It's meant to fill in the gap. You can't fill in the gap. The size of the damn Grand Canyon. $15 an hour, and you still can't afford rent, food, and health care. And child, a one-bedroom apartment that used to be $800 is now $1,600. And groceries went up 25% since the pandemic, while CEOs made record profits. So when ignorant folks ask, what do you do with your October benefits? Like people supposed to save their EBT card. Baby, how you stock up when you don't even have enough to begin with? Child, and let's be clear. The face that they show when they talk about welfare, government assistance, is black. Baby, they've been running that lie for decades. But we know the truth. The majority of people on SNAP, Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare, baby, they don't look like me and you. White folks are the biggest beneficiaries of every single one of these programs. So when you hear people saying they're taking our benefits, baby, who is they? Because it's been their community getting a lion's share of it all. Black and brown folks been getting the crumbs, while white America silently has been collecting the whole pie. So this isn't about laziness. It sounds good. It's about survival in a system that's been rigged since day one. And now white folks realizing the system don't love you either, baby. I don't know why we keep trying to humanize these monsters. And they keep showing us who they really are. Anyone who can smile while people can't eat. Anyone who cheers when people lose access to health care. Baby, that's not leadership. That's evil in a suit. So no, the math ain't mathing. Greed is. So black people, drink your water. Stay rooted, real, and knowledgeable. And mind your black business. Happy Black History 365. And I'll see you next time.
Is it just me, or when you see the news, is it always black people being showed that we are the main beneficiaries of SNAP benefits? But the funny part is minorities only make up 40% of the SNAP benefits. So where do you think that other 60% is coming from? Come on, if it was just black people, it wouldn't be a food stamp program. Let's be realistic. And the minorities include black, Asian, Latino. I mean, we can go on and on with the other ethnicities that make up minorities. So let's not act like it's just black people. You guys know where the other 60% is coming from. But we know that we will continue to blame it on black people because black people are always to blame for everything. You're saying that we get our hair and our nails done and this and that and
blah, 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 but billionaires are getting tax cuts, and you're mad at people for getting their hair done with food stamps, and people that are billionaires get tax cuts while the working class constantly gets tore down. I mean, the irony of all of this is just so funny. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, likes, and share this post on this. Yeah, it's just kind of rattled me today.
So here is the story. Online, a bunch of posts started going viral, mostly from angry users who believed that food stamps were designed for Black Americans only. But when the real statistics came out showing that the majority of SNAP recipients are actually white, they completely lost it. Oh my God, this is insane. Some couldn't believe it. Others called it fake news. It's weird how misinformation spreads when people don't check the facts. Yeah, so let's clear it up. SNAP stands for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Yes, it was created to help low-income Americans regardless of race. And here is the kicker. According to USDA data, most SNAP households are white, not black. The reason? Poverty affects every race in America. It's not a black issue, it's an economic issue. But for decades, some politicians and media figures used racist stereotypes to make it seem like welfare equals black laziness, when in truth, the majority of recipients are white families in rural areas. So why are some white Americans angry now? Why? Because the truth challenges their comfort zone. Yeah, the truth challenges their comfort zone. Many grew up hearing that government help was something only minorities used. When they find out that most SNAP users look like them, it forces a reflection they don't want to have, that poverty exists in white America too, especially in small towns and southern states. And that's uncomfortable to admit. Trust me, that's uncomfortable to admit. This is where the political game comes in. For decades, leaders used race to divide poor people. They made white Americans believe they were better off than black Americans, even when both groups struggled with the same economic problems. Yeah, this used to happen. We all know this. That division keeps people from realizing the system hurt them both. So instead of uniting against inequality, they argue over false stereotypes. The media played a big role in that, showing black faces in welfare stories to sell fear and stereotypes. Yes, this happened. It's the truth. So at the end of the day, poverty doesn't care about your skin color. No, it doesn't. SNAP helps families, black, white, Latino, Asian, who are just trying to feed their kids and survive. It's not about race, it's about survival. The problem is too many Americans would rather believe a racist myth than face economic reality. That's the truth. So the next time someone says food stamps are only for black people, show them the stats and remind them that poverty has no color. Yeah, that's the truth. So what do you think about this outrage? Is it genuine shock or just denial? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more real talk and reaction videos. See you in the next one. Bye.